Hey there everybody, this is Lee with Creative2xmom, and this video is going to be what's in our morning basket for November 2018. You're going to be seeing a lot of Thanksgiving items in this video, as well as our typical day-to-day basket items. And that's because the holidays are coming. Thanksgiving is only a few weeks away, and this is that time of year that it's so much fun to revisit the history that surrounds the holidays and do those special projects with the kids. So I went to my library to pick up some of the books that I thought you might be interested in, and I'm also going to show you our typical day-to-day rotation of the things that we always have in our basket. Now this special Thanksgiving morning basket video is part of a collaboration with Boy Boss Mama as well as the Waldock Way. So I'm going to link both of their channels down below as well as the playlist. I'm sure you're going to find lots of fantastic ideas for sharing your holiday basket with your kids. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with the seasonal items, which is probably why you clicked on this video, is to see all the resources that we have for Thanksgiving. The first one is this holidays series. I found these at my library and they have several of the holidays as well as Christmas, Easter, Martin Luther King Day. I thought this was a really great series. If you have younger ones, this probably ages out around 2nd grade. So I think I'm going to use this one still in our morning basket because I have a 2nd grader, but for next year I would not use this resource. But this is a good one if you got little guys. It's just a 1 or 2 page layout of kind of the basics. Who were the pilgrims? And so it's just a 1 page and a photo for each one. The first Thanksgiving, early Thanksgivings. So this goes beyond the history of just that initial day, how it became a national holiday, Thanksgiving in the new nation, and even Thanksgiving today. This would be just a quick little read. I would probably do 1 or 2 of these layouts a day. But I think we are going to include this one because it's just a quick little overview. Even if it's something that I just do one-on-one with my 2nd grader, this is a good little basic beginning. Getting a little bit more advanced, this book is Thanksgiving Day by Diane M. McMillan. It's kind of the same idea, and then it's just a few pages for each topic, but it goes a little bit more in depth. What was the Mayflower? Your kids have probably heard the term Mayflower before, but might not necessarily know what it is. The many days of Thanksgiving. And again, it goes into the history of how Thanksgiving became a national holiday, which I didn't know until just a few years ago. I think this is the one that I read with my kids, and we really enjoyed it because we got quite a bit out of it. How people prepare for Thanksgiving, how Thanksgiving has changed from history until now. This is a good kind of broad overview of the holiday. I think this is the one that we're going to do more so in our morning time. Now I picked up this book that you might be interested in. I think we're going to pull this one from our morning basket. It's Turkeys, Pilgrims, and Indian Corn, Story of the Thanksgiving Symbols. I thought this was going to be a little bit more of a hands-on project, but it's so much history and it covers a lot of the same topics that are in the other books, so I'm not sure that we're going to use this one. A lot less pictures, a lot more text, and not so much living text. I did like that it broke up the Pilgrim mother's responsibilities, the Pilgrim children's responsibilities, what their lives were like from each other, and it gives a little bit of insight into that. However, I thought this was really, really light on the Native American history, which I did not like. And it kind of was redundant for some of the other books that we are going to be using. Now this one, I have not decided if I'm going to go through this with the kids or if I'm going to use this as my resource for filling in as we go along, but I think I will use this with the kids. It's 1621, A New Look at Thanksgiving. And this, of course, shares a lot of the Pilgrim history, but it also goes into a little bit more of the native peoples of that area, which I was really excited to see. The photography is absolutely gorgeous because this is a National Geographic book. It's exactly what you would expect, the exact excellent quality that they have. And we have been reading Sign of the Beaver. My older 2 kids and I have been doing a study on that. So I think this would make a great little background information to that story as well. I think I'm going to do more so focusing on this one and probably this one in our basket time, and using the other 2 potentially to fill in. This is not exactly Thanksgiving themed, but it is seasonally themed. We're really enjoying these Poems for Autumn's seasonal poetry. And it's just an anthology of different authors. Of course, with some gorgeous photography and quick and easy poems that you can read, one or two a day. We've really been enjoying this because it's brought up different topics and different ideas in nature that I wouldn't have thought to discuss with the kids, but it's brought up some good thoughts, some good food for thought for my kiddos. And of course, you can't talk about Thanksgiving without including the Magic Treehouse research guides. I love these guides. They are so well written. They're written at a great accessible level for the kids. I would say around 3rd to 5th grade, although my youngest one and even my older kids still get a lot out of it. This is one that we've gone through before, and if you have younger ones, you might want to include Thanksgiving on Thursday, which is the fictional story that goes along with this research guide. This is a good one to have on hand for those little questions that come up here and there. In the table of contents, this research guide covers why the Pilgrims traveled, how they got to the New World, some of the native peoples that were there at the time, and how the plantation grew, etc., and resources for doing more independent research. I love that about this series. There's always some extra resources in the back if you want to do more research on whatever the topic is. So I'm really impressed with Mary Pope Osborne's research guides. I think they're a great thing to have on hand when you're studying any holiday that you can possibly find. She has several of these out, so I would look those up. On the fiction end of things, we picked up a couple of fun stories. This is one of my favorite, 'Twas the Night Before Thanksgiving. It follows the story of a probably about 2nd grade class that goes to the farm, and they discover that the turkeys are going to be butchered for Thanksgiving. So every one of these kids decide that they are going to rescue the turkeys. And in the end, you see these kids waddling onto the bus, and nobody knows quite why, but your kids will notice the little feathers that are sticking out from under their shirts. It's just a fun story written in the classic 'Twas the Night Before form, but it takes on the topic of Thanksgiving and having compassion for animals and just the ingenuity of these kids to save these little creatures that they have found. The next book is called Thanksgiving on Plymouth Plantation. It's by Diane Stanley. This is kind of a fantasy book where the kids are going to Grandma's and they want to learn more about Thanksgiving. So Grandma puts her magic hat on and she transports them all back to Plymouth Plantation, where they learn bits and pieces about the holiday. I love that they are so inquisitive and they're always asking questions. There's questions about the food, about the people, about how they will survive. So she takes her grandkids along with her to discover what that first Thanksgiving was like and what the colonists went through in the new country. If you don't have time to read one of the more in-depth books about colonists, I think this one gives still quite a bit of information in a very fun way. The last picture book we have is called The Thanksgiving Door. It's by Debbie Atwell. This is such a sweet story. We start out with an elderly couple. And the woman's name is Anne. She's so upset because she has burnt Thanksgiving dinner and she feels like she's ruined the holiday. So they decide they're going to go out to a restaurant and they let themselves into the restaurant because the door is unlocked. Well, come to find out, this family is a new family of immigrants and they forgot to lock the door for Thanksgiving, and they're thinking that they're just going to have their family supper, but Grandma scolds them that they need to have enough for everyone, and so they welcome this elderly couple into their Thanksgiving celebration. It's a great story about how we can welcome others into our home, exploring new cultures, and really about Thanksgiving being about community and being with others that we love and including everyone. So I thought it was really sweet that it was the immigrant family that had decided to include the elderly couple instead of the other way around, and how they just shared what they had and welcomed them into their home. As for our other subjects, we are still including medieval history this year, so we're still working on the Professor Noggins cards, but we've also picked up this book. This is my Moana bookmark. We've also picked up this book called Castle Diary, The Journey of Tobias Burgess. It's by Richard Platt, and it's written in a journal style of a little boy who is becoming a squire and hopes to become a knight one day. So we are reading through this one with the kids. We are also using our Earth Science Professor Noggins cards. Right now in science for my older two, we are working on caves, and we are working on weathering and erosion. We're working on caverns. So I've pulled the cards out of here that go along with that. There have been several. And then we also always include our daily question journal that we start out our morning time with. We have a poem that we are memorizing called Autumn Time. The kids are almost done with this one. I think we're going to finish just before Thanksgiving. And we are memorizing the books of the Bible. The kids have been memorizing the books of the Bible since the beginning of the year, and they only have about 15 left. So we're hoping to finish just before Thanksgiving or just after. And then we are still reading a chapter a day in our Bible. Right now, we are reading through Matthew. So we have been reading through the Gospels because I figured that would give the kids a really good overview of what was going on in Jesus' life at that time. So that is all the Thanksgiving resources I have to share with you. Some that we are going to be including in our basket, some that weren't quite right for our homeschool, but I wanted to share with you in case they looked like it would be something you would be interested in. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you are sharing in your morning basket this month. Are you putting an emphasis on Thanksgiving or continuing on with your regular subjects? And what does your morning time look like? Don't forget to check out the links down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.